you love macaroni and cheese, but you're counting macros and need something a little higher in protein, I've got the recipe for you today. I'm gonna show you how to make a high protein, cottage cheese based macaroni and cheese that's creamy and delicious, but is also easy on your macros. So to start, we're gonna take a whole container of cottage cheese. I'm using Good Culture 2%. It's kind of up to you. You can use a non-fat or a full fat, but we're gonna use 2% here, and I'm just gonna put this into a saucepan. This is about 450 grams, in case you're wondering about the size of the container to look for. All right, set that over there. Next, I'm gonna add in 150 grams of milk. You can use dairy or non-dairy. I'm gonna use a 2% milk today. Pour that right on top. And then we're gonna add in some different cheeses. So I'm going with an extra sharp cheddar. We've got 85 grams of that. Next, I'm gonna add in 20 grams of Parmesan. And then I'm taking one of these cheddar powder packets out of a macaroni box. This is from the Annie's organic one. I know you can buy actual cheddar powder on Amazon. I just didn't have time to do that. So this is what we've got today. And this is gonna be 30 grams of cheddar powder. This adds a more intense flavor, but it also gives you that macaroni and cheese color that we all know and love. So if you don't have this, it still works. You'll just have more of a white sauce, which is not a big deal. Okay, the last thing I'm going to put in is a half teaspoon of garlic powder, just because I like that flavor. You can omit this if you want to, but I think it makes it really good. All right, I'm gonna take my spoon, I'm gonna stir this all up, and then I'm gonna go over to the stove here, and I'm going to heat it on a low heat, not to cook it, but just to melt the cheese a little bit. You don't want it to cook because things will separate and it'll look really clumpy and gross. So again, just set it on a low heat. This will probably take 5 or 6 minutes or so. And while this is on low heat, I'm also gonna cook my pasta. So what I've got today is this chickpea pasta. It is chickpeas and lentils. And I was able to find a nice little macaroni kind of elbow noodle. So I'm gonna cook that as well. Let's go on over to the stove and I'll show you the rest. All right, so over here I've got a pot of boiling water, or almost boiling. Once it's boiling, I'm gonna add my pasta and cook it for 6 minutes. I'm just following the directions on the box. And then over here, I'm just putting this onto about a 2, so a lower heat. And once that's kind of melted, I'll take it off and blend it. Okay, now my water's boiling, so I'm gonna add the pasta. This is 8 ounces. You could technically make more than 1 box, but I like to have a really cheesy macaroni and cheese. So if I make 2 boxes, then it's not quite enough to go through both. So it's up to you. I'm just gonna make 1 box today, and then I'm gonna save the extra cheese sauce to go on top of some broccoli or some other vegetables, because that's another really great way to use the cheese sauce. All right, so again, I'm gonna cook that for 6 minutes. All right, so my pasta's done cooking. I'm gonna take that, strain it, and set it aside until I'm done with the sauce. All right, so now I'm gonna add that cheese sauce into the Vitamix, and that way we can make it nice and creamy. Try to get all of the bits out of there so we don't waste anything. Okay. Set that there. All right, so to put the lid on. All right, so the longer you blend it, the creamier it will get. We want all those little bits to be mixed up of the cottage cheese so that you don't have a weird texture. But it doesn't take too long. And then what I'm gonna do, get rid of this thing. I'm going to store this in a mason jar, and that way I can add it to the macaroni and cheese, or if I want leftovers, which I'm gonna have today, I can add that to any kind of a roasted vegetable to kind of dress that up and make it more interesting. All right, so there you go. It's a nice yellow color. You can't see it very well, but I'm just gonna let this sit. If you wanted to store this for any reason and use it later, just put a lid on and stick it in the fridge. It will thicken up, but once you pour it over something warm, or you can zap it in the microwave for a little bit, it will get into a pourable texture again. All right, so I just got my little pasta pot back out. And I'm just gonna put my pasta back in here. Try not to make a mess. This is harder than it looks. I'm trying not to spill it everywhere. Okay. Whew. So all I'm gonna do now is take this macaroni and cheese sauce, and I'm gonna pour it over the top of the pasta. And I'm just gonna start with about half of that, mix it up, and kind of see where I'm at and if I need more or not. Maybe just a little more. And what I like to do is put this into a bowl, add some broccoli, and then I have some air fried chicken or even rotisserie chicken, and just put that on top, and then you have a little bit more balanced meal, but you still get to eat macaroni and cheese.